Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Wednesday, hump day, April the 22nd, in the year of our Lord 2015, as we get started and rolling along with today's show. Look, I'm going to continue with some of the things I talked about yesterday as far as the John Crow laws in Wisconsin are concerned. Did a little bit more digging, found a little bit more. You know, this stuff is just, it is absolutely amazing what the left will do. And then they'll try to blame it on the right for whatever reason. They'll either accuse, well, the right does it, or they'll say, well, we have to do it in order to defeat the lies of the right and all that. It does it. They give you all kinds of excuses. Point is that if you're willing to use any excuse, you'll use any excuse. Plain and simple. But what I wanted to start today is also Earth Day. Happy Earth Day to all you folks out there. Yeah, well, we have to honor Mother Earth, because it is the only Earth that we have for now, until man can, get spaceships that can take him to another planet, so we can ruin that planet too, I guess. I wonder, would these liberal nut job, Earthers, environmentalist wackos, if we went to Mars? Now, Mars is, the atmosphere is much thinner and it's much colder than it is here on Earth. But if we wanted to, and there doesn't appear to be any life on Mars. Well, even if there isn't much of it. So I wonder, I bet you this is the case, that if we sent mankind to Mars and we started to change the landscape and the atmosphere and the climate of Mars to be more conducive of human beings, I bet you they'd be out there complaining that we're causing global warming on Mars too. I'm serious. I know that there are people out there who are probably just cracking up at this, but I'm serious. I'm serious. They would be out there, protesting. They'd be in their. They take a spaceship up to Mars. Now, get this scenario. Just think if we're like Star Trek, and basically going to Mars is like taking a flight across the Great Pond For those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, that's the Atlantic Ocean. To a European country. So just think a couple of hundred years in the future, and we're able to do that. And they decide that they're going to protest, terraforming of Mars. And I bet they'll be out there at the space pad or space airport or whatever, spaceport, whatever you want to call it. They'll be out there in their space suits with their little picket signs. Hell no, we won't warm up the planet Mars or something like that. Save Mars, do not warm it up, no terraforming. That's how idiotic they are. Now, understand there is no life as we know it, or very little life as we know it, on Mars. It's a cold, desolate, rather dead planet. Now, maybe at one time, it appears that Mars did have an atmosphere and possibly, maybe, had some life on it. And I'm not going to get into all the alien theories and that kind of stuff. I have my own theories on Mars, but right now, it just looks like it's pretty much a dead planet. And I mean, it's not totally dead. I mean, it looks like you could foster some kind of life on there if you do certain things, but for the most part, it can't really support life as we know it. So it's pretty much a dead planet. And it appears that it could have possibly had an atmosphere that could have supported life at one point in time. And then for whatever reason, there was a worldwide calamity. And the planet of Mars lost its atmosphere and, much of its water. And it just went bye-bye. I don't know where who knows? Maybe aliens came down and stole the atmosphere and water. We have movies about that kind of stuff. Well, what was the Battle for Los Angeles? Battle for LA? Wasn't that about basically they were battling aliens that were mostly water, right? And they used water for energy and everything, and so they were basically here not just to wipe out humans, but to take our natural resource that we know as water. The universal thing. So it's highly possible maybe that happened. I don't know. We'll probably never know what really happened to Mars. So, but you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come up with all kinds of theories to try to tell you what happened. And frankly, I'm just going to say, don't believe any of them. It's all a bunch of garbage. And most of it is probably geared towards keeping us from either exploring the planet or settling the planet. Or, they'll come up with some reason why it's bad for Earth for us to go to Mars, too. Trust me, they will. They will. I happen to like space. Now, I like science fiction, but I happen to like science fact even better. I understand. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I understand that there have been some people who've actually designed what we would call, that would be something similar to a warp engine. But we just don't have the technology to actually build it because we don't have the power source to power it yet. But I guess they've actually been able to design it, so I don't know. But I happen to like science fiction as much as I like science fact. And science fact actually comes into play here on this planet, especially during Earth Day. I mean, you have all kinds of nut jobs running around. Obama was running around out there today talking about, global climate change. I'm going to take you back a little ways. Now, a lot of people, they still doubt me on this. And I'm going to take you, look, you go back to the 60s and 70s when this whole environmentalist wacko movement got started. Because what is this? The 45th anniversary of Earth Day? It started in like 1970. So what was 45th? Yeah, 45. So it started in 1970. Was the first Earth Day, I do believe. And it got started because there were people that thought, they thought, without any real scientific proof even back then, they thought that because of man's pollution, that, because we had a heavy smog in places like Southern California, And they thought that our pollution from our cars and factories and homes and everything was going to block out the sun. And that we were going to drop the Earth into another ice age. So back then it was called global cooling. Now, when I say that to people, I still get people who want to argue with me that I am wrong. And I tell them over and over again, look, you can even find this on YouTube. I am not talking about the movie with Jim Carrey, The Lorax. I'm talking about the Dr. Seuss weeknight special. 30 minutes, because back then, things were, you had the Peanuts on for a special, for Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter. Wasn't there a Valentine's Day one? I think there was there's a Valentine's Day Charlie Brown one. There was even another one that was aired in March called It's Arbor Day Charlie Brown. And again, that was based on, Chuck Schultz, Schultz being the creator of Peanuts, of Charlie Brown and the gang, being talked into thinking that, global cooling was a real thing and we needed trees in order to stop it. And then we started getting the Earth days, and they kept talking about how it was going to be a new ice age, a man-made induced ice age. Because back then, folks, the glaciers were like in Alaska and the northern climes all over the planet. The glaciers were growing. They were growing. Kids in school were being taught about global cooling. The Lorax, a half-hour, weeknight special like Charlie Brown, came on television. I think it was in 73 or 74 when it first aired. And it was all about man chopping down trees and utilizing the trees for man's own greed and burning the trees and putting pollution in the air from burning the trees and causing cold weather by blocking out the sun. And then the more we use to keep warm because we're blocking out the sun, the more blocking out of the sun we did until we enter an ice age. That's what they were trying to, in elementary and middle schools back then, that's what they were trying to instill and indoctrinate the children with. They were trying to scare us to death. Our parents were going to kill us by putting us into an ice age. We were going to all freeze to death. That is what they were telling us. And people did not believe me. And I'm like, all you got to do is go to YouTube and look up Dr. Seuss The Lorax. You will be able to find. I think the last time I looked, and it's been a while, it was chopped up, and I think into 7 or 8 segments. But you could find the whole special on YouTube. Dr. Seuss The Lorax, not the movie with Jim Carrey, but the 30-minute special that aired back in the 70s. Now, they stopped showing that on as a special during weeknights during the year. It was every year. I mean, because they used to always play. I think the Lorax came on, and I watched it. I did, but I watched it because I also wanted to see Ricky Tikki Tavi. Every year, I watch Ricky Tikki Tavi. That was a lot of fun. I'm not sure if that is. I've never looked it up if Ricky Tikki Tavi is on YouTube. But Ricky Tikki Tavi is a mongoose for those of you who don't know. And he fought King Cobras. And no, I just had the thought of one of the Cobras. And it's kind of related to Iran, by the way, but we won't go there at the moment. But you can go there to YouTube and you can pick it up, and they showed it every year during the 70s until the point they decided, well, you know what, Earth has stopped cooling down, and we have some new information for y'all. It's now called global warming. Because now we're going to heat up the planet. We thought we were cooling it off by blocking out the sun, but we realized that that's not the case because Venus, somebody said, hey, look at Venus. Venus is covered in like this thick, heavy cloud. and it's hotter than hell over there. And over there on Mars, there are no clouds, and it's colder than hell over there. So maybe, if we have a lot of clouds here, it ain't gonna cool off. The sun's warmth and rays are gonna break through those clouds and get trapped. We're gonna heat up. And so then it was changed to global warming. And throughout the 80s and 90s, all you heard about was global warming, man-made global warming. We're going to burn up. The Earth's temperature is going to rise to such all the Earth's deserts are going to expand exponentially. All our crops are going to burn up due to severe droughts. That's all we heard on the news. Every time there was a drought, is this part of global warming? Yes, scientists tell us that it is part of global warming, and it is a dire warning that we need to heed. The newscast was talking all about this stuff all the time. Global warming, global warming, global warming. And Earth Day, every time Earth Day came around, it was like a big spectacle. You had all the so-called stars out there, all the actors and actresses and musicians and artists, and all the good-looking and fancy and famous people, and not so good-looking but famous people, all came out of the woodwork on the left in celebration of Earth Day. Now, the funny thing is that all these people are flying all over the place talking about global warming, and by flying in their little private jets, kind of like Al Gore, they were kind of contributing to the problem that they say mankind was creating. I know. That was all hypocritical. I know. It still is. It's still, they're still flying around talking about global warming. They're still driving around in their limousines and their big SUVs talking about global warming. And, now it's not global warming. See, sometime around 2000-ish, late 90s, early 2000s, they realized, now you have to understand, for the last 18 years or so, since 1997, 1998, there has been no warming on this planet. None, zilch, zip, nada. And I got some information about those warming numbers in the first place, and we'll get to that in just a second. But there has been no warming. And there has been no scientifically measured warming on this planet anywhere over the last 18 years. So basically, since about 97, 98, there has been no warming. So around that time, around the year 2000, somewhere around there, give or take a year or two, they, on the left, in the environmentalist wacko group, they got wind of the science. So, planet's not really warming up now. So there goes your whole theory about global warming. And they, in order to keep their whole mantra alive, they had to change it again. So now it became man-made global climate change. So they got smart, so they thought. So now if we had a bad hurricane season, it was man's fault. If we had a poor or light hurricane season, that was man's fault. If it was too cold, that was man's fault. If it was too warm during the winter, man's fault. If we got too much snow, man's fault. We didn't get enough snow, man's fault. Too much rain, man's fault. Drought, man's fault. Anything that happened in the weather that seemed to go away from the so-called norm, it was due to man-made global climate change. And they thought they had it in the bag until we got the emails that were discovered from East Anglia College, University in England, that pretty much showed that it was all a bunch of BS and hoax. It was lies. It was misinformation, data that was purposefully incorrectly entered into models in order to get the results that they wanted. They weren't looking for the truth. They were just looking to back up what they thought or what they wanted to be the truth. They weren't looking for the truth. It's like saying, we're out here trying to prove that if you go 65 miles an hour, you'll actually arrive at your destination later than if you were to drive 55 miles per hour. So in order to prove that theory, instead of asking the question, do you arrive faster at your destination driving 55 miles per hour or 65 miles per hour? No, their question is 65 miles per hour is actually slower than 55 miles per hour. And we'll prove it. So then they go out there and they commence to fudge the data to make it look like it's scientifically proven that 65 miles per hour is actually and really slower than 55 miles per hour. It's the same thing that they did with global warming, folks. They went out there because their premise was there is man-made global change, climate change happening, and it's our fault. And we're going to go out there and prove it. Instead of asking the scientific question, here's the hypothesis, is there climate change happening, and what is the real cause? No. Their premise was, their thesis was, that this is man-made. Any climate change that's happening is man-made. So it's man-made climate change, so now we need to prove it. And thus, they went out there and they fudged numbers. They entered incorrect data. They adjusted numbers from going way back, so it looked like, things weren't as warm as they were back then, but they were actually cooler. So it appears that the numbers today are warmer than they were, back in the 30s and 40s. So they were doing all this kind of stuff. And those emails, not just there, but at other institutes of higher learning, even here in the United States, had their emails cracked. And that kind of stuff was being revealed all over the place. But yet, we're still told that there's global warming or man-made climate change, and there needs to be something done now. I mean, even Al Gore came out with the inconvenient truth, which is nothing more than a convenient lie for him. And he got really rich off of that stuff, too, by the way. For those of you who don't like the one percenters, Al Gore became a one percenter because of trying to scare people in global warming. That's the truth. People, no, Al Gore didn't get rich out. Yeah, he got rich off of carbon. He founded the stupid carbon trading, like NASDAQ. He founded the carbon trading board, or trading board. And then he folded it because he couldn't sell it to anybody. But not before he made millions of dollars off of it. That's also a fact. Something that liberals do not like. So, but now we're dealing with another Earth Day, and you have President Obama running around talking about, it's global climate change. Got to do something about it. So Obama honors Earth Day by using over 9,000 gallons of jet fuel, and that's just the start. Because he had to go down to Florida and a few other places. Now, President Obama is celebrating Earth Day by flying his jumbo jet down to Florida so he can tour the Everglades. Now, the 1,836-mile round trip will consume over 9,000 gallons of fuel on Air Force One, according to CBS White House reporter Mark Knoller. CBS here, not Fox. Hey, liberals, Fox didn't report this. CBS did. And that's just the president's plane. There'll be a half dozen support planes along for the trip. Marine One helicopters and a 25 to 30 vehicle motorcade. Just to go and talk about man-made global climate change. And that we need to do something about it. And here the president is running around with his entourage of vehicles and planes spewing more carbon, enlarging his carbon footprint to being one of the biggest on the planet. And he's going to lecture us about global warming. I mean, folks, you can't make this stuff. This is hilarious. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. I wish 25 to 30 vehicles in his motorcade. Now, those aren't electric vehicles, by the way. Well, I got some news on electric vehicles, too. But those are not electric vehicles that he's using, by the way. Those are gas. Not even diesel, but gas. And of course, he's got all the other planes, support planes and helicopters and everything that have got to be flying around. I tell you, this guy is nothing more than a walking symbol of hypocrisy. If they weren't so damn dangerous, it would be funny. It really would.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The friends, family, and recent ex-girlfriend plan. Because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Welcome back, folks. It is I, your lovable host, coming to you live from somewhere in the great state of New Hampshire. Yeah, it is me, your lovable host, Rod. And you are listening to the Rod Eccles Show. Hey, there's been a major shift in Americans' opinions on guns. Yeah, no, I kid you not. There has been. This is a there's a couple of stories here about this. This one is from WND. Since the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre in Newton, Connecticut, Americans' view of guns has gone through a shift to the point where record high numbers of citizens now say firearms are necessary for personal protection. Crime rate increases have in part fueled a 25-year high, the Washington Examiner reported. Now, according to a recent survey from Pew Research Center, support for gun control once soared to 66%, especially in the days following the Sandy Hook shooting and the concerted Obama administration effort to platform that tragedy into crackdowns in the Second Amendment. But that number is long gone. Excuse me. Now, support for more gun control stands at just 46% and falling. And gun rights at 52%, the highest level in 25 years. So people are starting to understand, hey, criminals are getting guns, man. And you can crack down on all of us law-abiding citizens all you want, but that's not going to stop a criminal from... Because look, Sandy Hook, in all of those college campuses out there, that had shootings on them. Even this past month, there's been college campus shootings. Those are all gun-free zones. Well, there's no, Star Trek type of force field that only allows people through and not guns. I mean, maybe someday we'll get there, but we're nowhere near that now. So the only people who don't have guns are the law-abiding people in these gun-free zones. The ones who have guns are the ones who are planning on doing something very, very, very bad. We call them criminals. So criminals are getting guns. Even guns that are... Remember back in the Tommy guns weren't exactly legal. Back in the heyday of the big-time criminals that everybody romances today. Yeah, they got guns. Criminals around in the United States today, they get guns. They even import guns. So it's not like they're only using American-made or American-manufactured firearms. They're importing guns from other places, smuggling them in. I mean, we're finding criminals with Russian-made guns. We're finding criminals with Chinese-made weapons. So the criminals are always going to be able to get, if they want a firearm to do something bad with, they are always going to be able to get one. And the people that are following all these stupid laws are the ones that are not going to be armed, that aren't going to be able to defend themselves, and are the ones that are going to end up dead. And that's just logic. I'm saying it's plain and simple. I mean, it's not very difficult. But... So there's also another story. More blacks see guns as a lifesaver. Now, wait a minute. We've got Chicago and Washington, D.C., and Detroit, three cities with very large black populations. And, you would think that they would hate guns because, all the killings and everything going on, especially there are 3 more shootings in Chicago, by the way. So basically, 2 years after the Newton, Connecticut school massacre, Americans are coming to appreciate their gun rights more than ever. And despite the billions of dollars spent to convince people otherwise, the idea of more gun control is anathema to most Americans. This is America. We're built on guns. No, we need guns in America. Even women and black Americans are less likely to see guns as a safety risk and more likely to view them as protection against crime, according to a Pew Research Center poll. Oh, really? Now, that used to be a bastion because, women and blacks were always, supposedly, always for gun bans, gun restrictions, anti-Second Amendment. That's what we were told. We were always told, yeah, that's what they are. They're strong proponents of gun bans and gun restrictions, and that's not true. Look, when you are dying by the hundreds in cities across this country, at some point you're going to wise up and say, you know what? I need to protect myself because these fools around here, these criminal fools around here, they got guns. And the only thing that can stop another gun shooter is another gun shooter. I don't know about you, but there aren't many Bruce Lees and Jackie Chans running around. And Jet Lees. I don't know many people that can disarm somebody with a gun and disassemble that gun at the same while they're disarming them. That only happens in the movies. I don't care what ninjas don't do that. Shaolin monks don't do that. You remember the movie Bulletproof? Well, sorry, nobody's bulletproof. Not even Shaolin monks. They can't resist a bullet. Sorry, just not happening. So basically, what people are saying is, well, hey, these fools going to be shooting at me. I'm going to be shooting back to save my ass, is what they're saying. Because otherwise, it's, another Sandy Hook all over again. You got kids and teachers who are defenseless. They're huddling in classrooms, hoping that the person with the gun doesn't break in their door. Now, let's face it. I know people are saying, well, they can huddle and lock the teacher can lock the door. Let me tell you something. There isn't a lock. Unless you want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars per school to add bulletproof doors and locks. All it takes is a couple of well-placed shots in a door to get it open. So locking a door and huddling in the corner behind desk is not going to save your butt. Oh, and you know what? A teacher can only save students once. Look, yeah, the teacher will save them. Yeah, the teacher gets shot, teacher goes down. Now who's going to protect the kids? Exactly. I'm not advocating kids have guns, but maybe the teacher should. They can huddle behind that locked door. Fine, the teacher can have a firearm. So if anybody comes through that door, they're going to meet with a hail of bullets first. That's what needs to happen. No, we can't have these gun-free. Gun-free zone basically means, hey, nobody here can defend themselves, so you've got free reign. Which is why when we have these shootings, these mass shootings, there are so many casualties because there's nobody around to stop. Now, I don't know how many times we've heard stories about, a robbery going bad and a perpetrator starts shooting a gun. And especially in a restaurant or something. And all of a sudden, somebody in the crowd also has a firearm. A legal, law-abiding citizen has a firearm. And they start shooting at the perpetrator. And they stop the crime. They stop a crime which would have been a massacre. So, I mean, look, Americans' views on gun ownership, they are a change. And by the way, there's a story here also, speaking of guns, that that the government is still collecting and stocking up on firearms, or not firearms, excuse me, but bullets. They keep on stocking up on bullets. Now, I don't know. Well, this is also a WND story, WND.com. Feds keep on stockpiling ammo. Department of Justice soliciting bids for 9mm hollow point bullets. Now, I don't know what the Department of Justice or the Department of Homeland Security really needs hollow point bullets for if they're using most of this stuff for target practice. That's what they told us. Hey, yeah, we got all these new, agents running around. They need to practice their shots. We're not talking going to the doctor and getting a shot by a nurse. Ha, ha, ha. No, they got to be able to be more accurate when they're shooting their firearms. So we need a lot of practice. Well, if these people need that much practice, let me tell you, we're all in trouble, so we definitely need to have our own firearms. Because if they need that much practice, it means that they can't hit the broadside of a barn. I'm talking a big Amish barn, not a little New England barn. That's a lot of bullets to be practicing with. But the Department of Justice is seeking to purchase 95,000 rounds of 9mm hollow point bullets. It has posted online a solicitation that requires bids to be submitted by April 30th. While such bullets are often used in law enforcement, the federal government's bulk purchase of ammunition in recent years, including a proposal to buy 1.6 billion bullets, has raised concerns about the government's need for such supplies. You think? Hello? Are they expecting a war? If they're expecting a war, what kind of war? I'm just asking the questions, folks. I don't necessarily have the answers, and I'm not going to get the answers from these jokers about any of this. We're not. But here's the other story. 3 shot in Chicago. City of, there's also, when you get one story that crawls across your news feed and you click on it, man, sometimes the trail never ends, it seems, with other related stories and information. I mean, I could probably have a whole show tonight based on gun control, anti-gun control, that kind of crap. I mean, there is so much stuff out there recently about guns. It's redonkulous. But here we go. 3 shot in Chicago, city of gun control. Weekend wounded, killed by firearms, hits 32. 32 people in a weekend in the city of Chicago. City where there, no gun, kind of like Washington, D.C. was before a federal judge shot him down. No guns. Not supposed to have any guns in Chicago. Chicago's like a gun-free zone. Gun-free zone, ain't no guns over here. No legal, law-abiding citizen got guns over here in Chicago. Come on over. All you criminals with guns, just come on. You'll be getting some shooting practice in. 2 men, 35 and 24, and a woman, 22, were shot and wounded Monday morning about a block from the University of Chicago's Hyde Park campus. Again, near a campus. Again, another gun-free zone. Are you getting the picture that I'm telling you that we need to do away with these gun-free zones? Because they're I'm going to be frank. Now, if you got little kids listening to the program right now, I'm going to give you the count of 3 to plug their ears. Now, because I'm about to say something that they should not hear. Now, I'm warning you. You got to count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Plug their ears. We got to get rid of these dumbasses who are trying to tell us and perpetrate this fraud upon the American people about guns. Because guns kill people. No, guns don't kill people. People kill people. It's just sometimes they use the weapon of choice to kill somebody is a gun. Sometimes the weapon of choice is a knife. Sometimes a weapon of choice is a bomb. Sometimes a weapon of choice is just their bare hands. And even sometimes a weapon of choice is a car. But we're not trying to ban cars. Well, I guess we are. I got a story about electric cars, so maybe we are trying to ban cars. But I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, you can unplug little kids' ears now. I mean, this is just unbelievable. The government has absolutely no logical need to ban guns from law-abiding citizens. The only reason they want to do it, logically speaking, is that they want control. Well, Rod, guns put our cops in danger. Well, no. Guns don't put our cops in danger. Our cops have guns. You know, too many laws, unnecessary laws, put our cops in danger. That's what really puts our cops in danger. We're always going to have crime. There always has been crime since the biblical days of Cain and Abel, the first murder. Look, that wasn't the first crime, as some people say. You know, there was crime in the Garden of Eden. That's why they got kicked out. There has always been crime. Somebody has always broken a law, either it be a law of man or a law of God. Thou shalt not murder. Well, Cain and Abel story, we know how that ended. There has always been crime. There is always going to be crime. Therefore, it means that there's always going to be criminals. There are always going to be people who are nothing but evil, no matter what you do with them. Therefore, people have the right to protect themselves from evil. This whole notion that the government will protect you because if you don't have a gun, then you won't get shot. We can look at Chicago and D.C. and see that is a bunch of bunk. Hello? Y'all ain't hearing me out there, are you? I mean, really? I mean, it's amazing. There's so many gun stories out there, and it's kind of interesting that they're all these stories are coming out on Earth Day. Hey, the Earth has a gun. The Earth has a few guns. Earth has a few loaded weapons. Mother Nature kills a lot of people. It's called hurricanes and tornadoes and volcanoes and earthquakes. Well, I guess maybe the earthquake is more like a bomb. But yeah, I mean, let's be real here. Yeah, tornadoes like a gun, that's for sure, because it targets things. It always seems like a tornado. We're heading into tornado season too, I do believe, right? Yes. So it always seems to target things. I don't know how those storm chasers do it. Maybe we should have gun chasers. People out there who are chasing down criminals with guns. Instead of everyday citizens, we should have gun chasers. Because we have storm chasers. They chase tornadoes to try to film them and learn about them and try to learn how to try to predict them and that type of stuff. Maybe we should have gun chasers. People who chase criminals with guns and to be able to better predict criminals with guns. Hey, they got these armored vehicles and everything. They might as well. I don't see a problem with it. If somebody's willing to, if there's somebody's willing to look down a tornado, which could pick up their little vehicle and toss it a mile or two, without even really blinking, not even slowing it down, then they should be able to stare down the barrel of a gun behind a bulletproof piece of glass, right? I would think so. I don't know, but yes, Chicago has some of the toughest gun control laws in the nation. But that hasn't kept the criminal element from firing off weapons with alarming frequency. Between Sunday afternoon and Monday morning, 14 people were shot and wounded in the city. And this is reported by the Chicago Tribune, not a conservative ragmag. Did you hear what I said? Not a conservative rag. It's not Fox News. In the latest, the 3 victims were sitting in their vehicle by an alley when a gunman approached and fired. The victims were injured but still ran into a nearby parking garage and were then transported to nearby hospitals. Now, I don't know how you can be sitting in your car, get shot, then get out of your car, and run to a parking lot where you get an ambulance. I guess that's normal behavior. Oh, I don't think I've ever been shot by a bullet, but I remember as a kid we used to play war and cops and robbers with BB guns. I've been shot by BBs before. And then after we grew up, we learned BBs could be dangerous too. I probably shouldn't mention that. Because there are parents out there that if you had a Daisy Red Ryder BB pistol, like in BB gun, like in A Christmas Story, and now you probably get it taken away. I'm sorry, kids. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that one, but yeah, I never actually had a BB gun, but there are a lot of kids in my neighborhood that had more than one. So it was no problem having a BB gun fight. Yeah, it was. Yeah, looking back on it, it was stupid. Yeah, we could have shot our eyes out. Nobody did, however. Nobody ever got really hurt, but they did sting if they hit you. So, but look, I'm obviously not advocating shooting people, not even with a BB gun, but unless, of course, they're a criminal threatening you or another innocent person, and then it's perfectly fine. In my book, it's perfectly fine to shoot a criminal in the act of committing a violent crime, to stop them from doing the crime, if that's what it takes. Look, they made the choice. I have no sympathy for a criminal. I'm not one of those lefty mamby-pamby, oh, look, he just had such a horrible upbringing. Look at this, the neighborhood they can't. I don't care. The neighborhood didn't force him to do the crime that he's currently doing. He chose to do that. Now, granted, I know there are special circumstances and rare cases when somebody might do a crime in order to try to save a loved one because another criminal has a loved one, but that movie-style crap doesn't happen very often. So usually, the person does the crime because they want to. And don't tell me, well, I didn't want to do it, I had to do it. No, you wanted to do it. You didn't have to do a crime. You wanted to do it. Because otherwise, everybody who was as poor or destitute or down in their luck as you would commit a crime too. But everybody who's like you does not, because they choose not to commit a crime and they choose to do something else to get themselves out of that current situation. You, Mr. Criminal, decided to do a crime. So own up to it. Because if you do a crime in my house, you're going to get shot. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. That's just the fact. I'm going to defend myself. You only got one life. And I'm not going to wait for, black and white to show up to save me, because it ain't going to happen. And now there was just a news story today on the radio about a woman who died because she couldn't tell them where she was, and 911, the operator, couldn't pinpoint her by GPS type of location. They couldn't pinpoint where the phone call was coming from. The woman died. So why the hell am I going to depend on a fallible system to come to my rescue? They obviously didn't go to the rescue of those children at Sandy Hook in time. But I guarantee you, if there was a teacher or a cop or a resource officer that was trained and fully armed in that school when that shooter bust in, you would have had a lot less casualties. They would have put a stop to it before it got started. That kind of stuff it gets proven all the time. Criminal has gun, law-abiding citizen has gun. Bullets go flying, criminal goes down, crime is over. Plain and simple. There is no sympathy from me for criminals. Violent criminals. Absolutely none. We have a right and it's enshrined in our Constitution, but that's an inalienable right given to us by God, that we have the right to protect our life, limb, and liberty. And we don't have to wait for somebody else to show up and be, the knight in shining armor to rescue us, because that's almost always too late. And I think history and facts around the country prove me right yet again.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipo-stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on ultra-lipo-stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using ultra-lipo-stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra-lipo-stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used ultra-lipo-stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra-lipo-stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra-lipo-stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, something is happening in Sweden that may happen here sooner or later, and sooner probably rather than later. A Swedish school, now understand, this is a Swedish school, people, a Swedish school in Sweden, a Swedish public school in Sweden bans the Swedish flag. I kid you not. This is a piece from Spisa.com. That's SPEISA.com. Basically, it says it's prohibited. The Swedish flag has now been banned at a primary school in Sweden. The reason is that the flag may be offensive to certain groups and breaking the law of offensive against ethnic groups. They have a law against being offensive. And their own flag, their own national flag, can be seen as being offensive to somebody, thus breaking the Swedish law. Now, let me put that in perspective. We're already told that on certain occasions that you cannot wear a U.S. flag or fly the flag. You know, you can't wear a flag on your T-shirt and go on Cinco de Mayo Day in schools out in California, because it might offend, Latino students. So, therefore, in the United States, the American flag, the flag of the United States that represents this country, that represents freedom and liberty, can be banned because it offends somebody. I don't, look, folks, I keep telling you this. I can't make this stuff up. It just happens. I know you're probably thinking, well, how the hell did you even come across that story? Look, that's why you listen to this program, because I get information and stuff on stories that you're not going to find anywhere else. You're seriously not. And they all have an aspect and are going to reflect an effect and affect us here in this country somehow or some way within the next few years. And I guarantee you that somebody's going to say, well, look, they went and they banned the Swedish flag in Sweden because it's offensive. So that American flag is far more offensive than the Swedish flag, so we need to ban the American flag in America because we can't offend anybody. Look, they're already trying to do it. Look, they're trying to change our dollar bills. You know, they don't want it. They don't want the founding fathers on our money anymore. They don't want God and trust in our money or in our courts or in our schools. They don't want our kids wearing the flag, the American flag, into public schools. They can wear any other flag they want. They can wear a Japanese flag, zero. They can wear a red China flag. They can wear a pinko communist former CCCP T-shirt or a Chavez T-shirt, glorifying communist Cuba, but they can't wear the American flag T-shirt because that's offensive. I don't know about you, but I think a Soviet Union T-shirt is far more offensive in America than the American flag. And if the Latinos, especially Mexicans, are going to be so damn offended on Cinco de Mayo Day, which really in this country is nothing more than a drinking day, because a student wears the American flag into an American public school, then they need to get the hell out of our country and go back to Mexico, where they won't be offended on Cinco de Mayo Day. I'm serious. Good evening, folks. This is, you're listening to the Rod Eccles Show. I'm your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. We're rolling along on hour number 2 here on this hump day, Wednesday, April the 22nd, in the year of our Lord 2015. I got to address something else, too, here. I got to tell you, this program, this show has become so much better than when I started in 2009. I mean, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I have improved so much because I've listened, I've gone back and I've into the archives and I listened to a couple of shows, and I got to tell you, this one so much better now. Unbelievable improvement. And I got to say, I'm a little proud of myself. That's okay. I can be proud of myself for doing something good, right? No false modesty here. But with that, I got to tell you, my social networking pages are starting to blow up. And that's a great thing. That is a good thing. It's a great, fantastic thing. I just learned today that the Facebook fan page eclipsed 1,700 likes already. I mean, I think in 2 months we went from like 1,200 to we increased 500 in a month likes, and we haven't even done any advertising. You know how some people they Facebook advertising? No, I haven't even paid for any advertising. So we've done some marketing of the page on Facebook, but it's blowing up. If you haven't liked the Facebook page, the Rod Eccles Show on Facebook, you need to go over and do it, because the interaction is increasing daily. People are commenting and chiming in on everything that we're posting over there daily, and the comments it's getting so crazy, I can't keep up anymore. I'm not the only one who posts. I'm going to be honest. I'm not the only one who posts. It's me and another administrator. We both post, but I can't keep up with the comments. But I'm not going to tell you to stop. Keep them coming. I'm doing my best to keep up with y'all, because at the same time, I'm not just trying to keep up with what's happening on Facebook. I'm also trying to keep up with what's going on my Twitter account. Now, my Twitter account, I had not been playing with it, not doing much with it, and it dropped down below. It was like 8,500 followers. Yeah, all real people. I didn't buy a single Twitter follower like Hillary Clinton did. Now, because I've done a few things and started posting like crazy over on Twitter too, my followers have jumped to over 9,000. And those people are quite active because they're messaging me directly. And I'm sorry if I can't get to everyone, all at once. I love it. Keep it coming. It's beautiful. And I get some of my stories that I bring to you from you listeners out there and you followers. You turn me on to some stuff that doesn't come across my news feed. So that's why I want to keep the interaction going and keep it going. And the same thing is happening with Google Plus and LinkedIn. I mean, it's incredible. And believe it or not, my followers over on Pinterest are starting to pick up. So the whole social network, it's a beautiful thing. You just keep it coming, guys. Keep following, feed me information. Keep posting stuff to me. Keep telling me stuff. I totally appreciate it. But please understand that as this program grows, because now we're actually broadcasting every night, 5 days. You can hear this program 7 days a week right now on a network somewhere. And you can hear us every weeknight on right now 8 different networks. We're out there at 8. We're on Red State Radio. Shout out to Red State Radio. And I'm actually going to start shouting out to all the syndicated networks that we're on, at least one a night. But shout out to Red State Radio, fantastic group of people over there. And if look, redstate.com. Yeah, that Red State. I'm on it. Go figure. It's a beautiful thing. So the listenership keeps growing nightly. The numbers keep growing every night, and I'm just amazed by it. I am truly humbled and really glad and happy that people actually believe that I have something of value for them to give me their valuable time. And look, all I ask for is 2 hours a night. That's it. And because and look, I next week got some huge news for you. Next week, I mean, major news. So you're going to want to definitely tune in next week to hear the absolute unbelievable news for next week. It's fantastical. And we'll start leaking a little bit of it out, but the big announcement is coming next week. But I'm just flabbergasted by the success of this program thus far. And I know that we're going to go a lot farther, and it's only because of you, the listener. You guys are the ones who are fueling this, and I thank you so much. So if I am trying my best every day on a daily basis to get back to everybody, to read everything, to see everything. It's not easy, and it's going to get harder and harder the more people who end up following and interacting with us. But know that I don't put anybody else in charge to do that. If you email me directly, nobody else sees that. If you send me a personal message like on Facebook or on Twitter or any place else, nobody else sees that. I respond to that. Me and nobody else. That's how I believe it should be. I can't say that that's true of all the big guys. I mean, I know some of them do that. I can't say they all do it because clearly they all don't. But I will do my best to make sure everyone gets answered. And if I don't, please don't take it as a slight. It just means either I ran out of time for the day or I possibly did miss it because there's so much information coming in at me. I may have missed it. But I do my best not to miss a thing. And there's very little I miss. Trust me, there is very little I miss. Like the Swedish school band. I didn't miss that one. The Swedish school flag. Look, it's coming to the United States. Whatever the leftists in Europe do, the leftists here look at and they salivate and they wish and they're like, oh, I wish we could do that. And then they go about trying to do it. We got a bunch of copycats here on the left in this country. They want to copy all the failed stuff that's going on and has happened over in Europe and in other dictator type countries. And so they want to follow that. They want to follow that stuff. Well, see, here in the U.S., there's a group of people, they call them conservatives and constitutionalists. We want to lead the world and show them how freedom is done. and how freedom works and how good it would be if their dictators would loosen the ropes around the necks of their own people and let them be free. Because when freedom starts to creep in and freedom starts to grow in a country, the economics of that country is going to explode. Hello, India and China. When the Chi-Coms, the Red Chinese, decided that they wanted to join the modern world, they decided to let in a little bit of capitalist freedom in their country. And if they they've gone from, third world country to number 2 or number 1 as far as world economy is concerned in less than a generation. Think about it. In less than 25 years, they went from somewhere at the bottom to the top. Seriously. And they didn't do it by government-controlled communist type of economics. Oh, no, it was limited at first. But then they said, you know what, this stuff is kind of working. People are making money, and we're making money. The government's making money, and we're able to build all our military stuff. So, hell, let's keep the money flowing. Let's implement, Chinese-style capitalism. And all of a sudden, they started getting Chinese millionaires and Chinese billionaires. And then they absorbed Hong Kong. And then everything just took off. Everything took off. Yeah, sure, they're having their economic troubles now, but any established and growing economy is going to run into economic, hurdles, and they're going to have road bumps along the way. It's not always going to be, roses and straight up growth. They're going to have bumps that we do. We have bumps even when the government doesn't try to screw things up. We still have economic bumps. It's just the natural order of things. You can't stop it. There is no such thing as utopia. You're not going to have an even keel economy for all time. It just isn't. That's not the natural order of things. A number of things just come into play. People, for one. Mother Nature, for two. Who knows what Mother Nature is going to throw at you? All that kind of stuff, it gets tossed in the mix. And sometimes we're able to handle it, and sometimes we're not. But that's the free market. So, I know there are people out there saying, but China's having some economic problems, Ron. They're not growing as much as they used to. They could even be retracting. China could even be going into a recession or something like that. That would be really bad. Well, you know what? That happens. Look, I am not praising the Chinese government. I'm praising the Chinese people for when their government allowed them to do something, they took the ball and ran with it. You understand? Because you can have an economic plan, but if your people don't participate, well, nothing's going to happen. The communist dictatorship of China, the People's Republic of China, decided to let in a little bit of economic freedom. The people of China, all 1.2 billion of them, just decided, hey, we got a little bit of this economic freedom. Let's take this and run with it. And boy, did they run. They catapulted their country. At one point, there were so many freaking skyscrapers going up that China basically had control of, or were renting, buying almost all of the world's cranes. Building cranes. There was a shortage at one point in time of cranes worldwide because so many of them were in China. There was at a time in China in the early 2000s, they had over 300 skyscrapers going up at one time in one city. Now, I'm sorry, but that doesn't happen in a socialist country. That doesn't happen in an economically socialist or communist country. It happens in an economically free country. Now, obviously, the politics and everything else is not free. It's still communist, but their economics are a lot more free than they used to be. And those Chinese people, man, when they heard it and they got used to it, they took off with it. And the middle class is like, there was no middle class in China 30 years ago. Today, they've got the largest middle class on the planet. Look, if they can do it, it was only a matter of time, folks. It was really, I don't care. I know American pride. I have American pride up the wazoo. But you cannot tell me that the United States can remain the number one economic power in the world when we only have about 330 million people. China has 1 billion more people than we do. It was, by simple numbers, it was only a matter of time before they economically take over and be number one. However, that doesn't mean they get to have the world influence. We can still have that influence. But you got to have a government, an administration, who's willing to have the influence, who's willing to utilize and wield that influence for good, and who's willing to stand up for freedom across the planet. We don't have an administration right now that does any of that. We have a wimpy, cowardly... All right, look what's happening with Iran right now. Over there in Yemen. Oh, yeah, I'm a big, bad United States president. USS Roosevelt. Now, yeah, you're over there. Go over there and pretend like you're going to stop the Iranians, okay? Because they're going to see you, and they're going to turn around. Well, they obviously saw the aircraft carrier Roosevelt, laughed at it because they knew who the president was, and kept on going. Now, folks, that's pretty much it. Our military is now being laughed at, not because they're weak, but because their leader, their commander-in-chief, is weak. They can't do anything without his okay. Our military cannot do anything, can't fire a shot unless it's self-defense. They can't fire a shot in anger without the president's okay. They can't defend another nation unless the president gives the okay. Hell, even when they're attacked, we have these stupid rules of engagement that limits our military response. We get if our military gets attacked, depending on that type of attack, they may not be able to go full on, full frontal, full metal jacket bonzo on the enemy. They may have to hold back. No, it doesn't meet this level of aggression, so we have to act and react in kind. It's called a measured response. No, BS with a measured response. If I'm the president, somebody attacks my fellow Americans, I'm opening up a whole can of whoop ass on them. I'm not going to give them a measured response. I'm not going to nuke them, but you can better believe I'm going to bring the full force and full frontal of the U.S. military down on them, so they will never, ever even think about trying that kind of stuff again. I will decimate them. I would just tell our military, fire at will. Instead of, no. I know this ship has 5 guns, but only use 1. Okay, just fire with 1. No. Hey, you got 5 guns? Hey, can somebody put a 6th gun on this ship right now? Because I want them all to be firing. That's how I say you respond. You don't have a measured response. And that's socialist wimpy man. We want everybody to like us, and if we go overboard, everybody's going to hate us. Nope, they hate us anyway. We're crying out loud. Grow up. I mean, we're flying the flag of the United States of America here on our ships. That's got to mean something. It's got to stand for something. We can't have a bunch of wimpy, mamby-pamby people in charge of our military or our government, period. We cannot go another 4 years of this liberal shame of America type of government. We cannot do it. I don't know. Obviously, we the people don't want that kind of stuff, but we just can't. We can't do it. I mean, it's not. It's no. We just can't do it. I don't know why we even think we can put up with it. I don't even. Well, I know why our military brass do it, because they're honor bound and legally bound to follow the orders of the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States. So we, the people, are responsible for putting our military brass in such a poor position where they cannot. Hey, our men and women can't defend themselves properly. Whose fault is that? Military's? No, it's the electorate who elected the wimpy, mamby-pamby idiot who now resides in Pennsylvania Avenue. It's our fault. Let's correct it.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Welcome back, folks. We are back here on the Rod Eccles Show. Hey, Channelview, Texas, after a fast food restaurant was robbed. Now, this is something I could not believe when I saw this, and I had, I know today was supposed to be all about global warming and the fakery of it, and I even wanted to get into more information about the John Doe stuff. It looks like I'm not going to hit the John Doe law in Wisconsin stuff tonight. We've only, this last segment of the show. So we'll get to that first thing tomorrow, I promise. But just a way to get you to come back and listen to the show, right? See, I'm pretty smart here. Channelview, Texas, after a fast food restaurant was robbed, the pregnant shift manager said she was fired for refusing to reimburse the company the money that was stolen. Now, this is going to try to feed right into this whole notion that people at fast food chains and entry-level jobs should be paid $15 an hour. So, yeah, I guess if she was making $30,000 a year, the $400 that the criminal stole, she'd be able to easily replace it, right? But here's the rub. The heist happened on March 31st at a Popeyes fried chicken restaurant in Channelview, Texas, and was captured on surveillance video. Now, the Harris County Sheriff's Office still has not identified the gunman more than 3 weeks after the crime. However, she said, I told them I'm not paying nothing. Her name is Marissa Holcomb. And she said in an interview, I just had a gun to me. I'm not paying the money. Now, in the video, a man with a ski mask runs in waving a gun. He forced all the employees to the floor. Then he turns his attention to Holcomb. By the back of my shirt, she says, he pulled me up and pushed me to the front. He told me to give him everything out of the safe, but the only thing Holcomb could open were the registers, and the gunman got away with nearly $400. Now, after the robbery, Holcomb claimed that one of her managers gave her a choice, pay the money back or be fired. In less than 36 hours later, after she refused, she was fired. Now, this is all alleged now, but if it's true, one, I gotta say, you don't make your employees, because isn't the standard operating procedure of all places like this, just do whatever the criminal says, the gunman says, because we can always, find the money or replace the money. Well, I guess we know how they're replacing the money. They're forcing the employees who got robbed to pay it back. If this is true, man, it's a piece on USA Today. So, you take it for what it is. I'm not saying that USA Today is lying. I don't know if this is actually a true story. There's no way for me to know way up here in New England if something happened down in a small town or a small city, whatever. I've never even heard of Channelview, Texas before. Where is that, by the way? I don't know where in Texas it is. But Evidently, they got some crime down in Channelview, Texas, and maybe those employees need to be packing. Because, this poor lady she's pregnant. What's she going to do? Say no and then get shot? And then what is her manager going to do then? Going to say, oh, she was so brave. We are so sorry that, your kids don't have a mommy anymore and that you're not going to get to see your new brother or sister, baby brother or sister, because mommy died. By refusing a gunman to fork over the money. You're supposed to fork over the money. That's how they operate. You're supposed to hand over the money. And you do it so people don't get hurt. I mean, that's the whole premise behind doing. That's what they used to tell us about, hijackers on aircraft. Oh, just do what they want, and people most likely will not get hurt. And everybody will get to go home to their families safe and sound, eventually. And that all changed on 9/11, of course, but so I'm saying the same thing here. I mean, this gunman, if the story, they caught it on video, so the robbery is true, obviously. How the robbery happened is true. Now, the only thing I can think of is maybe the managers think that this woman had something to do with the robbery and that it was an inside job. It could be. I don't know, but I don't know any right-minded company manager who would. Is this a normal practice? Maybe I'm out of touch with restaurant, fast food restaurant chains and employees. I don't know. Is this now normal procedure that if they get robbed, the employees have to pay the money back? Because management assumes that one of the employees is actually behind the robbery. It's an inside job. Is that the mentality? I mean, I like to think that I am truly a man of the people, but it's been a long time since I've worked in a fast food restaurant, so I could be out of touch. Look, I'm not gonna be like these stupid politicians out there like Hillary Clinton running around trying to identify with people that she cannot possibly identify with. I'm gonna tell you, I don't fully understand your plight. I've never had your job. It would be like, okay, let's say I'm on the campaign trail. And I go to, I don't know, I go to a coastal place. And in this coastal place, they have, one of the businesses is an underwater welding firm. Now, underwater welding is considered one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. It is. Now, I don't hear anything about underwater welding accidents, probably because those people are so damn safe and careful, because they have one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. But it would be like me going over there and saying, yeah, I know what it's like, man. I can feel your pain having to go under that water with how dangerous that is. I fully understand it. I know what you're talking about. I can relate. No, I can't relate. I've never even seen it done in person, let alone done it. I can't relate to that. I'm going to be honest. If I'm I'd probably, if I was running for president, I would definitely drive my campaign staff batty. Because I would just be honest about it. You know what? People they care more about you if you're honest with them. Hey, you know what? I understand that that's a really hard job, but I got to tell you, I don't fully understand it because I've never done it or experienced it before. So I can't fully understand what you're going through. So why don't you share with me what it's like? Maybe I can learn something. If our politicians did that, do you know how many people would appreciate that? Because we're sick and tired of hearing these, yeah, I understand your pain. No, you don't. Yeah, I've been there. I've been so poor I couldn't rub two nickels together. Yeah, maybe 40 years ago. Well, just thought I'd give you that little tidbit of information. You can find all this stuff that I am talking about tonight, or wanted to talk about tonight, on rodeccles.net. You can go over to the paper pile, and I have to admit, I'm being honest again. I have to admit, I haven't in the past put everything on there on the paper pile. that I have found that I could have used in preparation for the show, because you know what, it would have just been, but the page would just be so long. But you know what, there's a search function there, so and everything is coded by date. So, you know, you can go on there. From the inception of the website is when that page starts. And it goes back. And there's a lot of stuff there. And I will be continually adding more and more stuff. Now, if there are broken links, it ain't my fault. It's because the online publication that I got the information from decided to remove or move the information. I don't have an automatic, broken link remover thingy. Is there such a thing? I should go look. There probably is such a thing. I should put it on the site if there is. Should, put it in the background so it searches and removes links automatically for me. Because as the site grows and more information is getting piled on over there. I mean, it's getting crazy. Or I'm sorry. What's the term? Cray-cray. It's getting cray-cray. Isn't that what, what's his name? Kanye West says? It's cray-cray. Yeah, I know somebody just probably flipped out. I can't believe Rod Eccles just quoted Kanye West, man. They're probably flipping out right now. And there's probably some liberal out there. Yeah, man, he is cool after all. He knows who Kanye West is. Yeah. He ain't so bad. He ain't bad for a conservative. Happy Earth Day 2015. The Earth is doing just fine, thank you. I've already told you this. This is from Fox News. Oh no, but Rod, I thought you said you don't watch Fox News. FoxNews.com. Thank you. And there was nothing for me to watch. It was an article. Wednesday, April 22nd is Earth Day. To hear the experts like Usher and Al Gore. That's how Rush Limbaugh says it. Al Gore. Like it's one word. Al Gore. Tell the story. The planet is in a miserable state. Oh, it's terrible. Just terrible. We're running out of our natural resources. We're overpopulating the globe and running out of room. The air that we breathe is becoming toxic. The oceans are rising, and soon major coastal cities will be underwater. The Earth is, of course, heating up, except when it's cooling down. And the oceans are rising, except when they're not. Yeah, one of the things that happened, and about this, I'm sorry, it's still related. I'm getting off the article for a second. When somebody tells you, well, the oceans are rising, look what's happening to our beaches. Well, then you can tell them and give them earth science fact. It's called erosion. It's been going on for eons, millennia. It never stops. So you see, the oceans aren't rising. They're just eating away at coastlines. Plain and simple. The coast doesn't look the same as it did 200 years ago, and it had nothing to do with man. Even if mankind, even if the Europeans or nobody else ever discovered North America, and the United States was never founded, even if the modern revolution, the Industrial Revolution did not take place, the coastlines would still change. Because there is something called erosion. And it's a natural occurrence, and we have nothing to do with it. We do everything in our power to stop it, or at least slow it down, because we really can't stop it. Again, hey, we can't stop something as simple as erosion from happening. I mean, we do all kinds of things to try to slow it down. And when we do things that when it gets too far, we try to fill it back in, right? But then the ocean just takes it back again. So we play this never-ending game. We can't stop erosion. In other words, we can't stop Mother Nature from doing whatever the hell she wants to do. Plain and simple. So, This whole notion that the oceans are rising, it's not rising water levels. It's called erosion. Plain and simple. Whoa. I'm sorry. I'm just getting a news break here from a listener that's telling me in a chat room that Fox News is reporting the Wisconsin John Doe gate going. Look, yours truly sees a story, jumps on it. Let me tell you, it's going to be big. I'm going to be the head of it, at the head of it, and we'll get more of that on that story tomorrow. I promise, folks, because I gave it to you last night. And right now I'm just having a good time with Earth Day. I don't want to be brought down by the John Doe law news stuff over there. I mean, I got plenty of it too, and it'll piss you off. So you know what? Let's have a happy hump day. We'll get to piss off Thursday tomorrow, okay? But you're not going to stop erosion. You're not going to stop erosion. Yeah, you're not. You can slow it down. You can even temporarily, slightly reverse it by filling it in. But the oceans aren't rising. It's just, look, it's just plain. What do people? When do people take earth science? Like in 8th or 9th grade, depending on your school district? Yeah. So it's not even college level science here. I mean, it's just basic science. So this is perhaps the greatest. The Earth, of course, is heating up, except when it's cooling down. So this is perhaps the single greatest misinformation campaign in world history. Virtually none of these claims are even close to the truth. Just like I said about oceans rising. See? I mean, when are you people going to stop? Even you liberals out there, when are you going to stop doubting me? I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong because I do my homework. Unlike you people out there, you lefties, even some of you righties, you don't do your homework. All you do is listen to a bunch of sound bites and regurgitate what somebody else told you. Oh, that's a bunch of BS. Don't do that because you sound like an idiot. Just saying. Virtually none of these claims are even close to the truth, except for the fact that our climate is always changing, as it has for hundreds of thousands of years. It's been changing since the day the Earth was formed. So, for those of you who believe in absolute total evolution, how old is the Earth? Like, what did we say, 3 billion years old or something like that? Well, so in other words, climate change has been going on for billions of years on this planet. Well, hey, we're told, somehow science has been able to, reach back and view back way, way, way back billions of years to find out, at one point, we didn't oxygen wasn't the main ingredient in the atmosphere. And then we started to get these plants in the oceans, and they started to release oxygen and carbon dioxide, and it changed the whole climate. So I guess plants are to blame for climate change, right? Well, wait a minute. No, I mean, without the sun, there'd be no plants. So maybe the sun's to blame for climate change. I'm just saying, just offering natural alternatives out there that are bigger than mankind. Just saying. Don't come yelling at me. I didn't create all these theories, by the way. I'm not the one who created them. Now, since the first Earth Day back in the 1970s, environmentalists, those who worship the creation rather than the creator, I've always said that, by the way, have issued one false prediction of Armageddon after another. And yet, despite the fact that their batting average is, well, Fox says 0, I'm saying less than 0, the media in our schools keep parroting their declinism as if they were oracles, not shysters. Remember the whole point back in the 60s and 70s, we were teaching kids that it was going to be global cooling and a new ice age ushered in by mankind because of all of our industry. And then in the 80s and 90s, they decided, well, that's not really going to happen. So yeah, it's global warming we're all going to burn to death. And then that didn't happen. So now it's just whatever happens, it's man-made climate change. I mean, you can, I I'm just not making this stuff up. I wish I could, but I can't. I'm sorry if I'm laughing, but because it's hilarious on one hand, but it also just proves how dangerous they are, because for some reason we can prove them, we can slap them. You know, it's kind of like hitting the sinner over the head with the Bible. They're still not getting it. You know, you can knock out a sinner with a Bible by rapping him on the head. Knock him cold out. Stone cold out. No, I'm talking the wrestler either. And when they come to, they still won't get it. It's the same thing with these environmentalist leftist wackos. We can knock them the hell out. They'll come to and still won't get it. I'm talking knocking them out with the truth, with scientific fact after scientific fact after scientific study after scientific study. They still won't get it. And they won't get it simply because they don't want to get it. They're going to sit around. They say Christians and Jews and other people of faith are weak because they lean on faith. Well, let me tell you who's weak. It's the liberal. Liberalism is a weak faith. It is a faith. Humanism is a religion. You know, they are the weak ones. Because all they want to do is, they don't care about facts. You know, there has not been a fact proven yet that disproves the existence of God. There's no scientific evidence that ever disproves God. There is lots of scientific evidence that disproves man-made global climate change. But yet they still believe. They still believe. I believe, hallelujah, there is climate change and man is the cause of it. Hallelujah. And I don't care what all that science says, because science says it doesn't matter. Because I believe in global climate change. That's basically what they're saying. You might as well have a Holy Ghost party going on with these wackos. Because look, when they're running around, you cannot tell me that when they run around, when you got Al Gore and you got Barack Obama and all these other, liberal, highfalutin, propagating man-made global climate change priests, because that's what they are, running around in global climate changing vehicles, spewing global climate change gases into the atmosphere, trying to preach to the masses that there's man-made global climate change. I'm sorry, but you used to say, and you still say, that a priest who's a pedophile is a hypocrite. Well, hello. Barack Obama and all these other priests of the global climate changing church are also hypocrites, and just like them. Because while they're telling you that you need to cut back, you need to buy an electric car, you need to be more efficient, you need to only take 5-minute showers, they're running around in jets, gobbling up over 9,000 gallons, driving in big, heavy limousines that get like 9 miles to the gallon, while you're trying to get by on a car that can't move when you step on the gas because, it's a Prius type of thing. It gets 50 miles to the gallon. Ooh, yay. But it can only go 40 miles an hour. And you want to say there's something wrong with us? I mean, come on, folks. Really? No. Not at all. Not at all. Well, that looks like it sounds probably it's time to go. So we'll be back here tomorrow, folks. We'll get into the Wisconsin thing tomorrow. So be here then. Till then, I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.